The Crisis of the Boy Man, When Men Don't Become Men Until 35. Hello, I am Dr. K. Paul Stoller, and there's a moment in the film Interview with a Vampire that always stops people. A vampire is being interviewed about his life before he was turned. He says something simple.
He says that when he was 24 years old, he already had an estate, a wife, and children.
The interviewer is shocked.
24? How could someone that young already have a life?
And the vampire responds calmly.
Things were different then.
And he's right, because they were. 300 years ago, by 24, a man was usually already fully integrated into society. He knew who he was. He knew what he did. He knew what his responsibilities were, because society had already pushed him through the doorway into adulthood. But today, something very strange has happened. Many men do not psychologically step into adulthood until their mid-30s, 35. And by then, most of the biggest decisions of life have already been made. Marriage, children, mortgage, career path. And suddenly, a man wakes up one morning realizing something uncomfortable.
I never actually chose any of this.
For almost all of human history, every culture had something modern society abandoned. Male rites of passage. They existed everywhere. Tribal cultures, ancient civilizations, medieval Europe, even early America. Boys were not allowed to drift slowly into adulthood. They were pushed through a transition. Sometimes violently, sometimes symbolically, but always unmistakably, a boy would leave childhood and return as a man. Warrior trials, hunts, apprenticeships, military service, responsibility for land or family. These rituals had one psychological purpose: to collapse adolescence, to force the young male nervous system to understand.
You are responsible now.
And once that happened, identity formed quickly. Modern society quietly removed these transitions. No rites of passage, no threshold moment, no clear expectation of when boyhood ends. Instead, we created something new: permanent adolescence. School until your mid-20s, extended dependence. Entertainment replacing challenge, comfort replacing responsibility. And the result is something anthropologists are now openly discussing. A growing population of boy men, men in their 20s, even 30s, who have never actually been initiated into adulthood. But here is the problem. Human biology didn't update itself to match this cultural shift. Women still operate on a biological timeline tied to fertility. Men still develop their psychological identity through challenge, responsibility, and achievement. But modern society delayed those pressures, which means something strange now happens. A man may not truly understand himself until he is 35 years old, but by then, life is already in motion.
Career, marriage, children, debt, and suddenly he realizes the person who made these decisions was still a boy. I was just following an algorithm.
This is not a midlife crisis. It's something deeper. It's the delayed arrival of manhood. A man finally becomes psychologically solid at the exact moment when he realizes his life structure was built before he knew who he was. And when that happens, relationships strain. Careers collapse. Men walk away. Or they remain in lives that no longer feel authentic. Not because they are selfish, beat, but because the foundation was laid before the builder understood the blueprint. This isn't simply a dating problem. It's a civilizational problem. For thousands of years, societies understood something modern culture forgot. Boys do not automatically become men. They must be tested, challenged, and initiated. Without that transition, a society produces something unstable. Adults who look grown, but who never crossed the threshold that forms identity. And when millions of men are forced to figure out who they are at 35, entire generations of relationships, families, and careers begin to fracture. The vampire in that old story was right. Things really were different. Because in the past, society made sure a boy became a man before he built his life.
Today, many men build a life first, and only later discover the man who is supposed to live in it.
And that can cause serious problems.